Hi everyone, welcome back again to Spiritual Growth Tarot and Astrology, and this is your weekly astrological transits, except I'm leaving out Saturday, so we're going from the 8th to the 13th with this video, and I'm leaving out Saturday because that's in a separate video. That one covers the whole eclipse, which is awesome, so I can't wait, but anyway, what's coming up for this between the 8th and the 13th, we have Pluto goes direct, and then we have Venus moving out of Leo and into Virgo, and Mars moving out of Libra into Scorpio. So there's a lot of action this week. So anyway, let me swap out cameras here and bring you over my table. Be right back. Okay, so this is the Set Your Intentions week, because this is the last week before the eclipse. So, and I have that in a separate video, so I'm only going to do Sunday through Friday with this one because the eclipse on Saturday is in a completely different video, but I will link it in the description area and probably in the comment section too when I get the timestamps in for this one. But meanwhile, you know, if you just click on those little dots that say more right underneath a video, it opens up a whole new world. I'll put the link in there to the eclipse video, and you can see, as long as you know where 21 degrees Libra is in your chart, then you'll be able to figure out how it's going to go for you for this next year and a half or so. So, okay, so I won't talk anymore about the eclipse in this one, but let's just remember that the backdrop here has been going on for months, which is Pluto squaring the nodes. The eclipse is going to happen at the south node, so things are getting intensely, things are intensifying is a better way to say it. So, but especially today. Now, I ran this chart at 6:37 p.m. because that's when Venus moves into Virgo. It looks like Sun ingress Virgo. I'm like, wait, what? No, it's Venus. Sunday, Venus moves into Virgo at 6:37 p.m. Pacific. So that's October 8th. But what I want to say here that's really important, notice how Mars is at 27 degrees 54 minutes, square to Pluto, which is at 27 degrees 53 minutes. Pluto will go direct in 2 more days. But for today, we have a very hot situation here. Even though Libra is more of a peaceful sign, well, Libras are known for taking on a cause because Libra is all about independence and autonomy and keeping things balanced out, especially when it comes to justice and fairness. All of those things are really important to Librans. So that Libra energy will help us, to probably bring to call to the carpet some of these older, this dinosaur energy, Pluto and Capricorn with its distortion as corruption, greedy, corrupt individuals who have been holding positions in the government and higher positions in, CEOs in corporations, right? And then, of course, the judges on the bench. So, anyway, we can focus in on working in the light, which is to live in your personal integrity, to be bound to your duty, to your soul, to understand that our beliefs organize our reality, and we always need to check in and see if our beliefs are true. Right? Basically, if they're aligned with love, we're fine. But a lot of people get confused about what real love is, right? Again, back to independence and autonomy. So Libra is also a cardinal energy, and I'm focusing so much here because look how we have, excuse me, hold on. We have 4 planets here. Well, 3 planets in the South Node. So we have a tremendous amount of cardinal energy here and over here to Libra. And Pluto in Capricorn is also cardinal energy. The only thing for today that we're missing is that, something in Cancer. But this is all cardinal. So cardinal, when I say the word cardinal, just think movement oriented. It wants to expand. It wants to start something. It's ambitious. It's the beginning of something. And it can be very, especially in Aries, and Capricorn especially, it has to do with being kind of driven, right? It's good to be enthusiastic. It's good to be spontaneous. It's always good to start new things, but maybe we need to slow down and balance things out first. Check things out before we just go. That is working the Aries Libra polarity there. So if we have any issues around, with our Chiron in Aries opposing the Sun, the Sun's at 15. So as it moves forward day by day, we will have an exact opposition. So the energy is really strong right now to work on our deeper wounding. So Chiron, with being the deepest inner conflicts that we come in to heal. Those of you who were, born when Chiron was in Aries, so you would be between 50 and 52, if you're having your Chiron return, it can bring things up. Thank goodness, unless we live to be 102 to 104, we only have to go through it once. But you can have, transits crossing over your natal Chiron. Like for those of us who are about my age, we have natal Chiron in Capricorn, and I have Pluto right now sitting right on my Chiron. It's not fun, especially because it's squaring my ascendant. So whatever is going on in your natal chart, this just to know this configuration is somewhere in your chart. So it's really good to have your transits done by a professional astrologer, so you can understand what's going on. Or if you've been studying astrology for years, check things out. Look at your chart. There's so much information online; it's easy to do. Let's see, but anyway, this backdrop here is not good for politicians, and we saw what happened with McCarthy this week. we saw what happens when someone kisses the ring of the guy that's gone, and then tries to go up against the crazies and gives himself away, and then says, "Bring it." Yeah, well, they brought it. And then, he had made deals. Here's the other part. With all this Libra energy, I hope he's learned a lesson. I think he might be in Aries. I can't remember. But with Libra, it's that ability to agree to something, to make an agreement. And with this Capricorn energy here, we need that agreement to stick, right? So he made agreements with Biden and with the Democrats for support, and then he turned and flipped on them and then lied about it and blamed everything on them. So he's a perfect example as to how to not use your power. Pluto is power. In Capricorn, it requires self-responsibility. Rudy Giuliani has Pluto on his South Node right now. How's he doing? Not good, right? Obviously, he hasn't, when you don't work on yourself, by the time you get to a certain age, things just implode, right? Your life force starts working against you. So that, these are just examples of how people have misused their power, which is why I bring them up. But for us, we have the opportunity here with all this beautiful Libra energy to balance things out this week. And every day that gets closer and closer to the eclipse, you can start feeling into what it is that you're holding on to and what is it that you need to let go of. And something that, there's a spiritual law to the fact that if something's yours, it will never leave you. That's something you have on the inner levels. So your ability to relate, your ability for fairness, for equality, your ability to be present in relationship and understand that the other person is another person, and we can't control or hold on to another person. Same goes for the way we relate to our finances, because, Libra is ruled by Venus. Venus rules our money and relationships and what we value. So with Venus also rules Taurus too. Here Jupiter's over here saying, okay, what's the truth about what you really value? What do you really believe in? And then we have all this Libra energy going, it's over here saying, oh boy, I need to get things balanced out, right? Because you can only spin so many plates at one time. Eventually something falls. And maybe you've been pulling on relationships, or relationships have been pulling on you, and you're needing space, you're needing boundaries. That would especially be something that could come up because of the double trine here over to Saturn. Saturn in Pisces requires boundaries in order to do the healing work. And with Neptune in Pisces, there's a lot of sensitive, empathic energy here. And I think I've said that many times, because we've been going through this for quite some time. I mean, my goodness, Neptune doesn't leave Pisces until, I think it's 2026, I think it goes into Aries in 2026. So we still have quite a bit of time. But for now, we're all more sensitive than ever, and that's a good thing. But with that sensitivity, with the a sextile up to Pluto here, we're needing to use that opportunity to come into our power by setting, healthy boundaries. So so back to Libra, agreements, contracts, even loans, because Libra being related to Venus has so much, or ruled by Venus, has so much to do with, money, financial things, and luxury items, like, have you been looking for a new car, or is that something that you're going, you know what, maybe I'll get a used car because it's ridiculously expensive, and these are all considerations. With Libra, we're weighing our options, and with the nodal axis from Aries to Libra, we're weighing our options before we figure out which way to go. Because go is over here on the Aries side, and Libra's over here going, well, wait a minute, let's talk about it, let's think about it, And, with Libra, usually we have the tendency to procrastinate, but with Mars and Libra, there's movement to make a decision. Libra is all about making decisions. That's part of the Libra, personality. Libras are so good. The Libra energy with the Sun in Libra here and Mercury, there's just so much there for the possibilities of relationships that you can really relate to, right? Where you're fully engaged. But you have to be careful about putting the other person on a pedestal or idealizing them in some way. And, we're all just human, right? We just have to remember that we're all human. But Libra has that ability to share what's going on, and especially share opportunities. And it does absolutely, it's one of the signs that does a lot of self-reflection. So, and you can see why that would work out well with Aries, because if you're here, they're there, and you can bounce things off of each other. And who knows which side you're on at any given point, because we've got self-reflection and presence. So if you can be very present, and especially with Eris here, you can see Eris is just about exactly conjunct the North Node. Now the nodes go backwards, so that North Node will hook up with her. She's just going to sit there. She doesn't move. It's like, what, 558 years to get around the zodiac for her. So, yeah. But she's there. Chiron eventually will go direct and then hook up with her. She's close enough there, they're so close already that all that energy is there to go in the direction of, if you can be present with yourself, you can really do well. If you can be in your being, your inner being, then you can wake up to all the opportunities to, positively assert yourself in whatever direction that you want to go. But you just have to be careful about projecting onto others. You have to be careful about needing to have it now, like right now. Or the downside with Aries, it can be, and this could come from the perspective of, if you're Libra, you might be really sensitive to somebody who's trying to dominate and control, someone who's invading your space, because they just want to win, that kind of a thing, which is what we saw with McCarthy. He said, "Bring it." That's Aries, right? And then the ones over here, well, I don't know about Matt Gaetz, I have never even looked up his chart. He's so disgusting, I can't stand going into his energy. But when it comes to the Libra side of it, we can be over here saying, "Oh, really? Oh, it's like that. Okay." Right? And then the Libra person can go into the non-committal zone, right? And can even get kind of fighty, kind of like, let's fight. Or it can be fight or flight. I mean, that's definitely a Libra. You either fight or fight. In fact, you've got fight here and flight over here, right? That's the tricky part. And, Libra can be manipulative too, or manipulative. It can be because we're dealing with, polarizing polarizing experiences, and then who's trying to take advantage of the other, and who's trying to just take advantage of an opportunity, but there's not really any care for the other person, right? So that's where, things can get tricky. But if you stay in your heart, and that's especially true today with the moon in Leo, in this beautiful sextile to the sun, and, every hour it's going to be an exact sextile. Sextiles are opportunities. So there's an opportunity for harmonious, happy, open-hearted giving and loving and reciprocity, quality, all of the Libra good stuff combined with the Leo. This is wonderful. And especially with the double trine over to Saturn in Pisces, there's that beautiful sensitivity. And you can see the sextile here coming off of Mars to Venus moving into Virgo. Well, there's the aspect of the architect there. So it's sensitive, and you can see there's so much happening here. With Venus in this exact opposite to Saturn and Pisces, there on one level, with just Venus, with what's going on here, there's seeing things in a new light. And the Virgo-Pisces axis is sometimes painful because, Pisces is over here seeing the big picture. And Virgo's over here. And now with Venus, we might be attracting the details of the big picture, hopefully. But sometimes with that, that new first 10 degrees from 0 to 9 degrees of the first decan of any sign, the planet might not, the Venusian quality might not be able to really figure anything out, because it's still too early in the game when you're trying to develop something. But and hopefully the development would be tracking some details, getting some facts, understanding. See, Pisces is over here understanding, and Virgo's over here going, wait, what do I understand? I don't have all the details yet. So we will be in this position of wanting to get more details. Venus is really, really good for trying to make comparison values so that we can figure out which way to go. Virgo being all about the possibility for, Virgos, they're usually, people with Sun in Virgo are usually pretty health oriented, and to me they are the epitome of self-care if they're good at taking care of themselves. If there's not a lot of hard aspects that they haven't worked through yet, they're really good at taking care of themselves. They might be a little too harsh sometimes, too hard on themselves, and that would be the challenge. But with Mars up here in Libra and all this Libra energy, there can be some backing off and some balancing out and some letting go, hopefully. So, and then back to the moon with the sextile to the sun, there's that ability to relate from the heart. Now, the only way to mess this up, and this would be the downside of the moon in Leo, and oh my goodness, everything going on with Pluto, and then over here to Mars. The only way to really mess this up is to get into a whole lot of self-will, like being really driven and just have to do it now. And not only do I have to do it now, it has to be perfect. That would be falling into the Virgo trap. That would be falling into the, the self-will and the pride that Leo can have if they're in trouble, right? And the really downside, the deepest downside of Leo energy is narcissistic, and can be kind of like energy vampires just to get attention, and drama, just all about the drama, not even knowing what they're creating, but yeah. And that's especially true, even though, most people look at the trines and the sextiles as all these great opportunities and harmony, but it's not always the case. The deal to remember is contact. There are contacts between energies with the planets, and the flavor of the energy would be, the sign it's in. So with Venus newly into Virgo over here in this double trine to the North Node and Eris, there's a lot of courage and direction over here, but Venus is like, wait, I don't know where I want to go yet. So if you have an Aries type of overpowering energy coming into your life, they can kind of pull you away, and you need to come back and find your own way in your own time. And so there can be, even though it could be harmonious, it could be great, but it could be troubling too. It just depends. That all depends on the situation. So you're going to have to, trust yourself, love yourself enough to say no if you need to, back to the healthy boundaries. And then, of course, send them love if you're having to say no to someone, and know that, even though you said no, someone else will say yes, and things will be great for them, right? And in fact, that's the better way to go, because when it comes to like a relationship or something, if you don't say no, you could be blocking them from finding the person that would be the best for them when it's not you, right? If you can set a clear boundary as to who you are and where you're coming from and what you want in your life, then you free up everyone else to do the same thing. And so this is this theme that's happening all week long. And it not only affects relationships, it affects business partnership. Libra, just remember the little bridge, the little glyph is a bridge. So are you in the middle of the bridge attracting the reflection of who you truly are? Or are you on one side fearful, or are you totally over the other side of the bridge connecting somewhere else? You know what I mean? We got to stay in that middle. We got to stay in that centered place. Otherwise, things can get, messy to say the least. So, yeah, okay, so Saturn trining, we've done that up here to Mars in the South Node. More sensitivity and compassion in relationships are possible. Politically, things are heating up. We will see a lot of conflicts, and yeah, but at least now people know where they stand. People know what's going on. The playbook, what are the words I'm searching for? Like the game, the playbook, the plan, the agenda is out there. We know what's going on with them. We know. So yeah, there's no hiding anymore. It's all out there. And with the square to Pluto, it's Pluto and the nodes and Eris. I mean, we all know what we're dealing with, basically. So let's see. Is this enough for today? Well, we could address this little semi-square here from the Sun to Venus. There is a decision probably that needs to be made today. And it might just be a decision that I'm not going to make my decision yet, but I am going to commit to getting the information with Venus and Virgo. So when I say Venus, just think of attraction. Just think of uniting together with something. I think of what is it that you value the most. And then know that it's going to rule your relationships and your ability to receive and experience and be with or give pleasure. It relates to how much you value yourself, your self-worth. And then also it's everything related to, the divine feminine or female relationships, right? Yeah. And then Virgo, we bring in the flavor of Virgo. Well, this is about discrimination. It's about discernment. It's about creating order. It's about things that are very, very practical. It has everything to do with learning something that it will turn out to be something very useful. But in this early degree, that we're these early degrees up to 9 degrees, we're dealing with just things that are starting. And we can see that politically. The Libra rules the law. And where Jupiter rules the courts, court systems, because Jupiter rules the 9th house, but we're talking the scales of justice here, and things are just starting, and they're heating up. And we're seeing what people are saying, and, we're talking gag orders and fines, and all types of things are just starting. They're in development. So, yeah. With the Virgo energy, it's good to take opportunities to create more order in your life, to keep things more simple so that they work for you. And the only way we can mess this up during this, season here of Venus and Virgo would be to just let things be cluttered, to be very maybe promiscuous, to not care about integrating any past lessons, to just, go for what you want without any self-reflection. And then most of all, to be beating yourself up and putting yourself down. Let's just don't do that. So yeah, okay. I think that's probably got the trine to Venus going. Yeah, once you decide on what maybe it's a new project or what you're trying to create order from, because your values have shifted or are shifting, then you can connect to all that courage to move forward and really focus on that. This looks really good. Also exact, you can see, well, almost exact. Every minute that goes by it'll become more exact, but this is in the PM, right? We have to remember that all of this is the culmination of the lead up for the day. And so by evening we do have that moon square Jupiter, and with that, just be careful about getting into any arguments, especially over possessions and things like that. But if you have to take a stand, like, this is mine and why did you take it? Or whoever, like if somebody's, trying to get something from you and you don't want to give it, this could be a little bit of a challenge there that builds up throughout the day, and then by evening maybe you figure it out. Could be, some kid saying, one of your kids or grandkids are wanting to borrow money, and boy, they certainly are. They have all the good reasons with Venus and Virgo, and then they're certainly grabbing your attention with the moon and Leo, and you're over here going, but wait, do they really need it? And they never pay me back, or are they going to spend it on what they're saying they're going to spend it on? That type of thing, Or what's really going on here? You could have a little bit of a battle like that going on all day, but maybe it is solved by this evening. So yeah, and then the inconjuncts going on with Jupiter. Up here you can see the inconjunct to the Sun, 13 degrees up here to 15 degrees. So there's an adjustment that's needed with this quincunx inconjunct 150 degree aspect. The Libra Sun is shining a light on what is fair and what would create more independence and autonomy. But then there's also the challenge with, because with Libra we have to be careful with dependency and codependency issues. So, because Libra wants to stay connected. So if there's a fear if you're not deeply, deeply connected to yourself, and there's a fear of not having the other connected with you, then you understand the adjustment has to be made at some point, right? And Libras can be really charming, right? But if you're Aries over here and you're wondering, oh, but wait, what do I have to do? Then there might be a little bit of an adjustment when you figure that out. When you figure out what is entailed, especially with Venus and Virgo here, you get all those details, and especially with Venus and Virgo with this sextile up here to Mars, you can figure out the right direction to go if you have all the information. But it requires, here's the key to this whole, what's the word, conundrum? The key is to don't be afraid for loving self-confrontation or loving confrontation with the other. If you have a fear of confrontation, you're probably going to have trouble with this, but it can work out and be a great strength once you allow yourself to just be in it and go with it. As long as you don't run and go the other direction, and I'm talking about a committed, loving relationship. I'm not talking about, opportunities for something new. If it doesn't feel right, then you trust your feelings, of course. But you can trust your body too with this, because Libra rules the kidneys and the lower back. So if you've been battling with someone and your lower back starts hurting, the simple question you can ask yourself is, do I feel supported in this relationship? Are we mutually supporting each other so that there's an exchange, or is this person always trying to get something from me and I'm always giving? Right? Things like that. You can ask questions like that. Yeah. And then sometimes when it comes to, if you're dealing with little ones or any care, if you're in a caregiving situation, like many people are, we have to find how to keep ourselves balanced, because sometimes it just takes all that we have. You've given all you got, right? So, okay, let's go ahead and go to Monday. So Monday, October 9th, I set this one for 4 a.m. Things are pretty much the same, except we have the moon going past, it's almost 4 degrees out of orb from Jupiter, and I already covered that, so I'm just going to let that go. But I really want to tune into the moon square Uranus here. So things could shift quickly when the moon, things could be a little unpredictable with the connection to Uranus, because Uranus is sudden often. But it can bring a breakthrough. It can bring a breakup as well. It can be sometimes shocking. It can sometimes be just what you need to get you going in a certain direction because you figured something out. It can be, Uranus is all about discovering new things. It's all about that, those aha moments where you get that flash of insight. And then you're like, oh, okay, I'll go this way because I know, or hindsight is 20/20, and you go, oh, now I really understand what's been going on, or what I need to do, or how to fix that, or how to make this run more smoothly, whatever it is. And that's especially possible with all this Pisces energy that helps us with that deeper understanding. Pisces is all about understanding. So, yeah. And then with the moon in Leo, of course, Leo rules the heart. So heart and upper back. So if your upper back is hurting, here's another, good body thing to understand, is that if your heart is open to yourself and others, then it balances out the energy to the back. The front of the body are the feeling centers, and the back of the body holds our will centers. So if we're in self-will, we're not loving ourselves through a situation, we're pushing ourselves, and that can blow out the third chakra in your upper back, and that can cause the upper back pain. So be sensitive to yourself, and that can be helpful, especially moving through this second decan of Leo energy. You're integrating something, you're learning something, you're integrating the things that you have learned. And then soon, when it gets into 20 degrees Leo, then you can have that experience of maybe overcoming a lesson that needed to be learned, or mastering something that you'd been working on for quite some time. And with Leo, of course, it would have everything to do with love and your creative self-expression, and something growing, in your life, creating more from your sense of self and what you love. So yeah, and you can see the moon here is sextiling the sun still, but it's starting to wane a little bit. So between Sunday and Monday, those are really good days to take all the opportunities to relate, to figure out your finances, to get things balanced out, to make decisions, All those things I was speaking of before. Yeah, and then especially with the moon exactly trine Chiron, there can be some real healing that happens between Sunday and Monday early morning. And then the moon is also, see how it's at 17 degrees? Every degree that goes by, every hour that goes by, it's getting closer and closer to the North Node and Eris. So there's a lot of courageous, heart-opening, loving energy if that's what you want to align with. Yeah, and then that Neptune that's in conjunct the South Node, of course, that lasts until December, I can't remember, is it December 6th, something like that? Yeah. And the sextile up here to Pluto, that's going to be gone October 22nd. So we want to really make sure that we use that opportunity to come from our spiritually sourced power. So, okay, let's go ahead and go to Tuesday. So Tuesday, October 10th, the moon is hooked up with Venus. So the moon has moved all the way through Leo. It's now in Virgo. And I ran this chart for 7 a.m. to give us that pretty much exact. So with the moon and Venus, I'm sorry, the moon connected to Venus, but especially with the moon in Virgo, just give some voice to, Virgo energy. Again, it's back to discernment. Like I was saying, you're discriminating, you're really practical, and you're putting together the pieces of a puzzle, connecting the dots. And especially to make good use of something that could be very useful, right? So again, back to health, self-care, your daily life, scheduling, especially, my goodness, scheduling, setting a schedule for yourself, like a weekly schedule so you can plan out your week, is especially if you have creative projects going on, it's so helpful to have that. And Virgo energy is mutable, so it's kind of in the middle going, it works really well with Libra and Aries energy, and you can see the trine here, and the aspect of the architect going on here. So all systems are go in the realm of bringing in this and then bringing in that and then figuring out how much of this or how much of that, or imagine cooking or baking and you're getting the recipe just right. Because with that mutable energy, it helps to, adapt. It's very flexible, and the earthly energy of Virgo is super resourceful. So it's good. And then we have, Uranus has been trining Pluto, and that's still happening, but we lose that trine on October 22nd as well. So, we need to open up to reinventing ourselves, getting a lot of guidance. Uranus can be connected to our guides, as well as Neptune, but both of them are those two transpersonal planets that really can help us just to wake up and figure out what's going on, and to with Neptune to let go of what's not working, and Uranus can show us the way for what does work. So yeah, I'm so happy that we have the grounded energy going on here, because otherwise there's a whole lot of fire and cardinal energy, right? Yeah, but to have the water, I mean, it's nice to have earthly energy between Pluto, Jupiter, Uranus, Moon, and Venus. And then we do have the fire. There's a lot of fire and cardinal energy, but then there's the air, right? So Aries over here is all the fire. Libra is a lot of air. Those two work together well, but it can be too much. It can be too much air. But then we have all this nice watery energy with Saturn and Neptune. So, yeah. Okay, what else with the moon? So getting the details, And then you figure out which way you want to go, and we try this, we try that. And meanwhile, we have the opportunity to balance out something really beautiful while the Mars in Libra is at that last couple degrees. It's right about that anaretic degree. And yeah, that's so things could get to the place where we really want things to be balanced out. We really want things to be perfect, but there's no such thing as perfection going on yet. I mean, who needs to be perfect anyway? But creating more order, creating more order that works, that's useful, something that's useful, I think is what's on the table for Tuesday. So, okay, let's go to Wednesday, October 11th. The moon has moved past Venus, still in Virgo, of course. We have a little bit of a sesquisquare going up to Pluto, so it can be that we've learned something that we really want to implement, and now we're kind of stubbornly, trying to power in and power down to get it going, whatever it is. And then we could, with the sesquisquare over here with Venus up to Chiron, maybe this has to do with deciding to stubbornly give yourself the time to work on any wounding so that your greater gifts can come through. That would be a good use of that, kind of stubborn energy. But with the moon over to Jupiter, we have 13 degrees here, 13 degrees here. You see that beautiful trine? So, and Taurus and Virgo energy work really well. Taurus energy wants to expand happiness, bliss, pleasure, self-preservation, money, right? Because it's all about stability, bottom line. If we don't have stability, we can't grow. But Virgo's over here, especially with the Virgo moon, intuiting how to grow, how to make things better. And it's a good day for getting that done. So Wednesday could be a very, very productive day. And I did run this chart at 9 a.m. to get some of those, exact aspects there. Yeah, and then later tonight, you can see how Mars is at 29 degrees, 39 minutes there. Mars is going to move into Scorpio. So things are intensely moving in a direction for justice and balance. I am thinking it's possible that Trump has a gag order by now, by this day. And he does have another court date on the 16th coming up with Judge Chutkin. But, I don't know, wouldn't it be funny? I mean, this is just a side note here, but it's possible that the other case, the New York case with Tish James, that's civil, right? But if he keeps messing up as much as he has already, and he gets gag order after gag order, and because you get warnings, right? You get warnings and fines. It's possible that he could get put in jail in this civil case, right? I mean, there's a real possibility there. So we'll just see if he can he keep his mouth shut? Can he stop doxing people? Can he stop? He's saying stuff about staff. The judge's staff. Judge Engeron's one of his staff people. So yeah, putting pictures and about her, posting on his untruth social as if he's allowed to do those things, and he's not. So anyway, what else? Yeah, this is by 9 a.m. Let's go. Let's take this through the hours a little bit. Let's see what else happens if I keep going here with the moon, if I can get my thing to go here. Yeah, that's the one I was looking at. So it's 4 p.m. So let's clock it at 4 p.m. through, I'm going to get an exact, late, okay. The moon in Virgo opposing Neptune, right? So Neptune in Pisces is over here seeing the big picture. to source energy, into all, things that are loving or completely delusional, locked up in a cult, locked up in a victim, it's a witch hunt, all of that stuff. And the moon over here in Virgo's going, excuse me, you need a lesson, obviously, because you haven't learned your lessons. Oh, the moon in Virgo over here is like just the facts. And Neptune over here is like, oh, no, I'm not taking self-responsibility. So there might be something that happens on Wednesday, on the news. We'll see. We'll see what it is. For us, we can use it for source energy to connect with our guides and get guidance. So let's look at Thursday. So Thursday, 7 a.m., the moon is still, opposing, and it's pretty much exact. Like, give it another hour, it'll be exact. To Neptune. So again, it could be Wednesday or Thursday. There's trouble for Trump and gag order time, or any other things that need to be faced. And Mars is in Scorpio, so there's no more. I can't say the word I want to say. There's no more messing around. There's movement to dig her heels in. Somebody's digging their heels in and going, hold on, you think what? And this could be, even for us, a relationship issue that came full, came to full fever pitch realization, and now that Mars is in Scorpio, we're like, okay, well, it's time to get the deeper lessons, because we always have, our part. We always have to look at our own part. And even if, here's another spiritual law to help you get out of duality whenever there's trouble going on, even if they were 99% wrong, your power is in looking at where you were 1% involved and figuring out what that was. So, so there's that. But we're moving closer to the eclipse as well. You can see as soon as the moon will be up here, conjunct the sun when we get to that on Saturday. But for today, see the Earth trine right here? So from Uranus to the moon. Oh, I'm just thinking of, what's his name? Alice to the moon. Oh my God, I can't remember the guy's name. Used to crack me up years ago. But anyway, Pluto up here holding a position of power. And I forgot to say, oh my goodness, did I forget the Pluto direct chart? Hold on, let me get back to the... Oh, I sure did. Hold on. I have to move. Let me turn this off because I don't want you to see personal people's charts, but let me get back to that chart because we have to talk about that. Okay, so Tuesday, I missed this, I'm so sorry. Pluto stations direct at 6:10 p.m., okay? So everything is still the same as what, I said. I just wanted to let you know, like what it, all the aspects are the same, nothing's changed, but I just wanted you to see what time that is. So, okay, let's get back to, where was I? Wednesday? Was I on Wednesday or was I Thursday? No, I think I was on, let's see. Opposition there. Yeah, no, it's definitely, I think I was on Thursday. 7 a.m. Yeah, because Mars is in Scorpio. I didn't do a separate chart for that one because, it's okay. Mars moves so darn quickly. It usually stays in one sign for just about a month and a half. Unless it's retrograde, and then it can hang back for 4 or 5 months. But anyway, so Mars is still tightly, opposing the North Node. But just think of all the Libra energy that Mars, picked up, and now there's that deeper understanding about relationships. So if there's anything else to work through, you can go even deeper, because Mars is Mars is energy, movement, right? And Mars moves energy, but in Scorpio, it's about going more deeply. Scorpio is good for refining things, understanding the subtleties, and helping life to be, to work easier, to be in more harmony. But they're not afraid to, usually not afraid to, confront, or say, well, no, I see it this way, or there's just not a problem, because it's about getting to deeper down into the truth. It is about making sense out of opportunities with other people, because Scorpio energy can have so much to do with blending energies and blending gifts, and all about resources, But if there's any trouble with Mars in Scorpio, for this next month and a half, we would just have to be careful with things that consume too much energy, things that suck up too much energy, that actually takes away, because Scorpio is all about regeneration, but if it's going in the wrong direction, it could be degeneration, right? Which would mean that it takes away opportunities for your energy to go in something productive. And, in the most negative sense, everybody has seen someone that's just really resentful, and or listen to them, and all they talk about is, the same it's usually the same story over and over and over again about who did what to me, that kind of thing, Or they'll talk about, maliciously gossip about someone else, that it just takes away your energy, right? Like, well, there's no reason to do that. To spend that much time on it, right? So as long as it doesn't consume too much of your energy, Scorpio can be really good for figuring out how things work and what's really going on, and then making something useful out of it, all that energy. So it can be excellent. And then, of course, all the water signs are connected to psychic abilities, and a lot of Scorpios are super psychic. As long as there's not something else going on, like I spoke about. Let's see, and then Scorpio over here is trining Saturn in Pisces. So this can be a time of, from today forward, 7 a.m. on the 12th forward, can bring in all these opportunities for creating more or a stronger foundation that is very spiritually supportive to you. It's, Saturn is about establishing something, and it can be your spiritual practice, it can be your meditation, and it can also, especially with that combination with Scorpio, it can be something that keeps going deeper and deeper. You know how a spiral spirals in, it starts out here and spirals in, go deeper and deeper, and you might stop for a while and work on something over here, or get stuck over here. But if you keep going, and you just keep going and going and going, trying to get into the causal effect, then you're going in the right direction. If you can always look for those false beliefs that are causing an effect that you don't want to experience, then you're getting somewhere, right? So it can be wonderful work. And let's see, what else with... Yeah, and then of course the square to Pluto. That's still happening. The moon, that's where I was before I got distracted, before I realized I missed a chart. So with the moon trine Uranus, again, there can be some waking up to some details, especially if you're trying to reinvent either yourself or something in your life. With the moon in Virgo at that, last decan, that last 9 degrees, there can be something that you're really bringing together in form. And that's especially true because it's trining powerful Pluto, and Pluto is no longer retrograde, although it's going to take a long time to get out of the retro shade. And but we will have another little journey, even though Pluto's going direct. That doesn't mean that it's going to just go right away to, I move so slowly, it doesn't mean it's going to go right away to Aquarius, because it's going to retrograde again in December and be retrograde. It's going to do the Pluto. So what's happening now is it's going back over that same territory. It started in February, like February and March. We had Pluto in Capricorn, and then went a little bit ahead to when we had that that period of time. I think it might have been in May or so, when Pluto was in Aquarius, and then it's going to go back again. So we basically, it was like February, March, and then June, July, and then it's going to happen again where we have Pluto back to, I think, that 29th degree, that anaretic degree from December, end of December to the end of January. And then then again, back and forth with September, November. So Pluto won't be officially completely in Aquarius until November 19th, 2024. So, it's just not going to stay. But when it gets there, it'll stay till 2044. So we'll have 20 years of Pluto in Aquarius, but we'll be working through Aquarian issues at that time. Yeah, hopefully more power to the people. So, yeah, okay. With this grand Earth trine here, like I started to say before, and especially we want to work this, trine up here from Uranus to Pluto, because it's gone October 22nd. This opening will be no longer there. And what we're going to need to do is to just stay open to possibilities as to creating unique ways of creating your life in a, to mirror what you truly value from the inside out. That's the beautiful opportunity here. And Uranus also is the planet of soul shocks. So if anyone's having like a Uranus return or aspects to Uranus, transits to Uranus, to your natal Uranus, or if you want to look at your chart and look at it from that perspective, then you can see where your healing lies, depending on what sign and the house placement and all of that. Because we bring things in from past lives. And our birth map that we're starting out with, our natal birth map is, it's like, here you are. This is everything that needs to be healed in this lifetime, and these are your gifts, and these are your challenges, and these are the possible breakthroughs. And then the transits set everything up so that you can have those opportunities to heal as much as possible in one lifetime. Yeah, so, okay, back to this Earth trine. Earth is the stabilizing factor. It's, it holds. So we have a container here of harmonious aspects that can hold something steady, so that we can create something that's reliable. So whatever you're working on, just go for it. This is really beautiful. Yeah, okay, so let's go ahead and go to Friday. So Friday, and then this will be the last one because, like I said, Saturday's eclipse video I'll link below. But here's Friday. You can see the moon is now in Libra with Mercury, with the sun, and all of this will be together when we get to that eclipse. And so look at the powerful Libra opposition to super powerful energy over here in Aries. But the T-square with Pluto up here is on the table and has been for months and months and months. But this is this beginning of a culmination. Eclipses are, this is the lead up to the eclipse, and eclipses are all about changes, new beginnings, but also endings. So what needs to go and what do you need to hold on to? That's just the way, the way life works. We can't hold on to something with both hands and still take advantage of an opportunity to grab something somewhere else, right? But Libra energy stays open to both. So I'm looking forward to this. Now, another thing to remember, or an important thing, because I know that most of my viewers are about my age, and I'm pushing 70, but I did look up online to see where because I know I have Neptune in Libra at 21 degrees, and I know I have lots of friends with that later degree Libra. But anyway, I wanted to look and see, because the eclipse is going to be, there's an important note, and then I'll probably just close this up. Because the moon is joined up with Libra, and I've talked so much already about Libra energy and Mercury in Libra. It's all, everything I've said relates. Everything I've already said, but so I'll just close up with this and let you know that if you were born between mid-November 1948 to mid-September 1956, you're going to have Libra coming in between, Neptune and Libra coming in between 14 degrees to 28 degrees. And that eclipse will be really important for you, because it's going to land within close enough degree, because we've got like a 7-degree orb that the eclipse will be very effective to, or have an effect on. So the eclipse, if the eclipse is within 7 degrees, within 14 degrees to 28 degrees of when the eclipse happens, it'll be at 21 degrees. So if the eclipse is coming in on your natal Neptune, this is about sensitivities. This is about heightened empathic abilities. This is about a new bridge to a higher level of consciousness. This is about a bridge to your spiritual path, any levels of creating something from the higher levels. Neptune is also about the need for healthy boundaries. It's also about addictions. It can help dissolve things, and if we work on, if we always work on when we're bumping up against an addiction, if we work on what the deeper pain is underneath that is causing the need to numb out, then we can circumvent that whole vicious circle. So, yeah. So anyway, Neptune can be sensitizing, but it can also be numbing out. Neptune can help us transcend, but we don't want to do any spiritual bypassing, which means spiritual bypassing has everything to do with going in going in a different direction. It's basically an avoidance tactic. It's not going within. Now, Mars in Scorpio does bring the energy in, and that is fantastic. Pisces energy can help us transcend, but are we transcending something because we don't want to look at something more deeply? We always have to look at the Virgo polarity. Virgo is good about going in, unless there's like an anxiety that makes it too hard. It all depends on the trauma. But then again, when it comes to this eclipse and those degrees, there could be, and this would be why we see so much trouble with, that cult kind of energy around, I'm not going to say his name again, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, and you just can't pull them in a different direction, and maybe we're just not supposed to. All we can do is just send them love. But let's just always bring it back to us. And if we can Neptunian energy here I'll speak to. If we can envision a better life, if we can imprint with our ability to visualize in meditation what we want to experience and sit in that it might feel like fantasy world when you're sitting in something that's really peaceful. Meanwhile, you've got neighbors arguing, or meanwhile, maybe you had to go to your car because you've got family fighting or something, or somebody that just refuses to turn the TV down, and other than clock them over the head with something, you have to just leave the room. Right? And you've come to your car and you're going to sit and meditate. Right? Oh, you've seen commercials like that with no, they're not going into the house yet because it's noisy. I'm going to sit out here with my awesome stereo system and listen to Enya. Right? It can be like that. So whatever you have to do to kind of fake it until you make it and get to that peaceful place, or fake it until you make it and imprint what it is that you're wanting to experience. And maybe it's a new car, maybe it's something like that, or maybe it's paying off the car that you have, and you see your pink slip in your hand, right? Whatever it is that you're longing for, Neptune is so good for that. And the Libra energy is the bridge that creates that ability to bring in something of a bigger, much bigger scheme, or much bigger, something without boundaries, right? Because Pisces is pure potential. There are no boundaries. But if you need healthy, strong boundaries, you just, you either throw up your shields or get into the love place and know that that's your protection. And sometimes saying no is an act of love. And yeah, so okay, I think I'm done for this one. Take good care, and don't forget to look at the solar eclipse video, the annual solar eclipse video, for all the rest of the information. Yeah, I hope you guys get to see it. It won't be visible across the whole. Well, in some states it'll just be like the partial, but. Yeah, you have to look and figure out where you are. And don't forget that I think, no matter, even if it's partial, you're going to need special glasses. So you might need to buy those ahead of time. So, okay, take good care, you guys. Bye.